I'm right now trying to build myself a podcast.
I got you. Don't even worry about that. It's done. And, you could be in, so one thing I'll tell you we do is, you could be in Jersey and we're in GA, but we do remote broadcasting. You don't even have to leave your house, and we'll talk about that offline. I'll set you all up. We'll just get your logo and everything done because you're my guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like I said, I'm really proud to see your growth, bro.
Thank you.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we went from, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, come on, man. So, you know, it's great to see the growth. And I like I said, every time I listen to you speak, you have a very educated mind, and that's very important that people understand that we're not just spitting stuff out. Like I said, yo, jump on my live. You said, give me a few minutes to prepare. I knew what you was doing. You making sure that if you was getting on this live and I was coming at you with some negative questions, you was ready. As vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody, I can ask you craziest question right now, because don't get it twisted. At the end of the day, I host a show just like you are gonna host a show, and we need to be devil's advocates sometimes. You need to see both sides of everything. Like I said, I sat and thought about what old girl said about her tenant. My biggest issue with her is that she put it out there for
your business. Okay. And that's what it is. So I see these people that are grabbing this money, this $1,200, some of them making the extra $500 for their kids, and they're going out there and buying these TVs, buying this, buying that. And I'm like, you should be investing that money, or you should be holding on to that money.
So here's my, I want to touch another subject with you, because to me, I used to work on Verizon towers. I used to change the battery cells at the bottom of the towers all the time. And when I pulled up onto a property, it was behind somebody's house. And the owner actually told me that he gets a $10,000 payment from these companies to have it so close to his house. Is that something that the real estate agents are aware of before the property is sold, when there is a satellite previously on the house, on the property?
So, unless it's disclosed. So if the actual if it's actually deeded out. So a lot of times happen is, let's say, for instance, I own 4 acres of land, and now they want to run towers, right, through the back of my land. So they'll send it out to all the people, all of us here, and say, hey, listen, you know, we're gonna rent part of your land to put a tower back there. And at that point, it'll be deeded onto the deed. So we wouldn't know that. The person that'll find out is somebody like my wife who does the title. They will see that part of the deed, and they'll then have to tell, you know, and disclose that to the new owners. So a lot of times it's about disclosure, right? I try to get as much information from my sellers when I'm selling a property for my clients. I try to get as much information. I tell them, give me the nitty gritty. Tell me what your great grandfather did. If he built a tunnel, I want to know about it. Like,
facts.
Why? Because at the end of the day, it's to better educate everybody.
And doesn't it raise a value when you have things that have to do with history and on the property? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it does.
Yeah, so
crazy, and it gives me something to talk about, right? So
a selling point.
The house that I was selling in Perth Amboy, I was able to talk that this is where they actually would bring in the boats to repair them, right? And they're like, wow, that's awesome. I was like, right here, you see the big bandsaw and all this, and they're like, wow, like it had a story behind it.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest concept.
out to my house again, so I just got on my Wi-Fi network. Apologize about that. Just to let you know, I think my business partner got us live on Facebook right now.
Oh, snap.
I'm not on Facebook, Instagram. I mean, YouTube. My bad.
YouTube.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and like I said, when we get off, we're gonna talk in the next few days about doing your podcast, because, like I said, in general, after this. Get him back on. There you go. There he is. There he is. So like I was saying, I feel like a lot of things are about to go digital, like full time.
Yeah.
Is not, you know what I'm saying? So I think, I told a lot of people that, when I used to work in Uber, I used to tell a lot of people, man, young kids in college, I'm like, man, what field are you in? They're like, I'm doing this and that. I'm like, why you don't get into your second, you know what I'm saying? What do you call it? Your understudy or whatever it is, your second major. Get into some IT, get into something that has to do with technology. That's the future, bro. Like, they've been telling us since Back to the Future that this is going to happen. And once again, we don't listen until it happens. They've been telling us on every freaking
you
movie we watch.
put there.
Like,
oh, what do I do for a living?
Oh
now?
shit, it's a little too late now. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's stressful when people take too long to understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta jump on it ahead of time, man. And I guess that's insanity, right? Trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Like it's like, dude, nothing happens unless you put the work in, and that's a fact. Like, all right. So here's a new thing now, like where everybody is, and I know it's not real estate, but you know, I know you believe in Christ and all that stuff as well as I do, but God's not gonna save us from the pandemic. God gives us choices, and a lot of people are like, God's gonna save me. I'm covered in the blood of Jesus, dude. Go to church if you want. Don't bring that shit home to my kids. Like, you have a choice, my man, and that's it. And the choice is.
I'm totally against that aspect of reopening the churches, and that's one thing. Like, for instance, my church itself right now, like we've been doing our services online and stuff like that, and not for nothing, but you think about it like this, and this is what I tell people. Yes, they close, all the churches are closed, and people might think like, oh, they're just trying to take away religion. No, you understand that church now has invaded living rooms, bro. You know how many people right now are watching services every single Sunday, or actually now saying, you know what, I can do service because they don't have to get up, get dressed, and drive, and feed the kids and all this. That they're in their house in their comfort. Like, I understand. Listen, we do need to congregate, and I'm a firm believer of congregating together.
Yes.
Worship.
There's ways to do it.
But in the circumstances that we're in, you can still feel the power of God in your house as long as you're there, connected, right? So
I mean, everybody knows.
I was hearing right now that
churches
they're trying to open in Georgia churches by the end of the week, and I'm like, yo.
Oh, let me just tell you a little bit about Georgia being on the Bible Belt. When he first, Brian Kemp first put out the shelter in place, that was exempt. Church gatherings were exempt. They can go to church, and it's still to this day people are gathering at churches and everything. It's tough, bro. It's tough to know that I work in a gas station. People coming in without masks or something. Like, I like what Jersey, New York is doing. It's mandatory now. You have to wear a mask to go out and everything because
I made my wife one. My wife likes unicorns. I made her one.
Nice. Look, let me show you. Nice. Look, me and my wife last night, my business partner at Walmart, because it's been hard. I've been making masks every day, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm trying.
Like, why not? Listen, this is what I tell people. Just like you was online taking real estate courses and all that stuff, take your ass on YouTube University and learn how to use a sewing machine. It's that simple. I know everybody got a sewing machine in your house.
Well, guess what? You don't even need to sew. So I mean, obviously, I got a Cricut machine because that's something I bought my wife for her business.
What's it called?
A Cricut machine. It's a cutter.
Oh, let me see.
I'll show you right now. Hold on. Let me just
Cricut machine.
Cricut. Yeah. So it's a die cutter. So it cuts designs for you, and also cuts vinyl. And it's it's something that we bought in the house. Hold on.
Is it expensive?
It was like $250.
That's great price.
So it's a Cricut machine.
And it makes the mask?
Well, it cuts the
shape.
It cuts it for you, right? And all you got to do is, instead of sewing, I use adhesive, fabric adhesive, and it literally sewed it all together.
And since it's so even, you don't have to sew it.
For myself, give me 1 second.
And I hand sewed these. What I did is my business partner sent me a video on Instagram about how you can take your shirts. Oh, that's fire! With your logo on there, all that, dude. Yeah. Bro.
And it's all, you see, dope. None of it's actually sewn. It's all.
That is dope.
Literally, it's a fabric glue.
That's dope.
Yeah, bro. So even start making them. So now I've actually made a few for my clients. And
nice.
So I've been giving out to my clients and they're showing. Sorry, I just got inside. So I've been showing it to my clients for all my showings, and it's actually been really cool. Like, they like it, so it's comfortable. I give them a coffee filter to be a filter inside. You know what?
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's I know it's a pain in the butt to be wearing it, man. It sucks, but it protects you, right? It gives you peace of mind a little bit. But in Jersey, they're talking about June 1st about possibly opening up again. And not for nothing, even if they open up, it's going to be really hard for people to start going back.
Let me ask you this: when it comes to your industry, what is I know you said the selling is still at a good level, but how about showing houses and stuff like that? Are you still actively showing houses as much? Or?
So I have. It's just been a little bit more difficult. You know, trying to get appointments. So you have to tell the seller, and the seller doesn't want you in. That's a pain in the butt. So it's been very here and there. You have to make sure you dot a lot of I's, cross a lot of T's. Hey, have you been exposed? Hey, are you sick? Like, and then you're asking these kind of questions, and you have to be very cautious, right? Because you could ask somebody, what if they unfortunately lost a family member? You know, and you got to be very touchy. And this business, and then not for nothing, it's getting people approved. Forget the part about showing the houses, is getting them through the pre-approval process. A lot of these people that were approved 2 months ago are not approved today because they lost
and why is that?
lost hours, lost their jobs, right?
Because that's the most important part. You have to be able to pay your mortgage.
So and a
Yo,
lot
that's
of
deep.
companies,
Hold on, pause. I mean, whoa. Some people, everybody on my Instagram, because I know y'all gonna be watching this over again and on YouTube right now. Understand what he just said, bro. Understand literally what he just said. He just said that people that were approved before the pandemic and probably a couple weeks ago or a month ago are not approved right now. That's deep. That just gives me chills through my whole body because I'm like, damn, people who literally put everything into, yo, I'm about to have keys. I'm about to put my Instagram picture of my first keys. I'm a homeowner. Then they get the phone call like, yo, my man, something happened where, you know, you can't close on this house. You can't even get pre-approved. Forget about closing. You can't even get in here to look at the house.
Nope. And not only that, but like, because a lot of things have actually changed with the margins of your credit score. Listen, the credit card utilization, right? Because a lot of people right now are running on their credit card because they don't want to use the money from the banks. Using their credit card, you're over 30% of your utilization. That just dropped your score by 10, 15 points. And if you were right on that marker of DTIs and of, you're done, right? You're done, right? Like, so I have a lot of people that tell me, oh, well, my house right now. I was like, great. Don't use your credit card. I understand that you're tight right now. I understand the situation's tight. He goes, yeah, but you know what? I need to dip into my credit card because the money that I have in my account is just enough money to cover my down payment. Then let's talk about not getting you into the house right now, right? Let's talk about 3 weeks from now or 2 months from now. Let's stack up your money a little bit more because the moment you start using that credit card and you start running that credit card up and you're over that 30% threshold, you literally just put yourself in a predicament of possibly losing the house because they do run another credit check the day of closing, and they say, oh wow, this person has their $5,000 limit that they had on this credit card. They already spent $4,000 of it. Oh no, time out. This is a red flag, right?
Yeah, you should sell floors.
Yeah, so because your DTIs drop, your debt to income ratio drops drastically. So I tell people is, listen, you have to make sure your credit's where it's at. Don't touch it. Don't get too crazy in spending right now. Spend what you can, right? And I know that's very hard, right? Because you're trying to get food, you're trying to stack up for your family.
I mean, it's easy not to buy 15, 20 loaves of bread that's going to go bad in 2 weeks. So we just got to use common sense on the way we eat.
Like, look, like, not for nothing. Like, so it's just me and my wife right now. My son is staying with his mom, right? So it's just me and my wife. So we always buy in bulk. I haven't had to buy meat in the past.
So you said.
We have enough meat there. Like, you prepare yourself in that aspect. I see a lot of people going to the grocery stores. Like, I go sometimes just to get out of the house, you know, because sometimes we just need to like take a walk. Yeah. But I see people going in the grocery store, overflowing them, and then 2 days later, I see them, they're overflowing again. I'm like, are you going with a list or are you just buying stuff? Because that's what happened to me in the beginning. I would just buy stuff. Now I start thinking, I need the cheese, I need this, I need that, because they were overbuying for no reason. You know, and that's unfortunate because now you're buying 50 loaves of bread, they're all going bad, and that $50 you just spent, you could have just spent, you know, the $2 for one loaf of bread and then buy what you need again. But
I was in a Walmart last week. Like I said, me and my wife are essential workers, so our schedule is, by the time I get out, all the stores are closed in Georgia, and then before she got to go to work, so we got to go either 6:30 in the morning, or we're not going. So we have been, but when I was there like a few weeks ago, 6:30 in the morning, there was a guy, and he's in the aisle, and he's buying stuff. I'm like, you know, I just made a comment, said, man, it's tough, man, being an essential worker and not being able to have anything that's supposed to be on the shelf. Like, instead of buying 10 loaves of bread, they could just leave a few for us. And the guy goes, man, it is what it is. I'm an essential worker, and I make sure I get here every 2 days and keep buying and stacking my house. I said, my man, so you told me you got mad bread in your house? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, how many people live in your house? He was like, 3 people. I said, bro, in about a week and a half, the rest of those 9 loaves are gonna go bad, bro. And what are you gonna do now? You ain't even gonna feel like trash? And he stood silent and walked away because I think he just realized, damn, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, because
like, what the hell am I doing?
I understand if you stacked up on water, like
different.
Because you're gonna drink.
The only thing I do drink is water.
Yeah, you're gonna drink water regardless. But now the bread that's gonna go bad, like the fruit that and they're not even buying fruit; they're buying all the processed stuff. Like
exactly,
eat the real fruit. Like, listen, I'm a fan of pineapple. Pineapple's on sale right now for $2 in certain places, and I'm like, bro, I bought 3 pineapples. Why? Because nobody's buying them.
And what you gotta do, you gotta take 5 minutes on your to clean it off, cut it up, and prepare it. It costs a lot less when you buy the fruit in the whole, because you process it yourself. When somebody has to be in a company and cut it up for you, you're paying like $2 more just because somebody cut it up and put it in a package for you.
Yo, I buy it for $2. I had the little thing that I bought.
Little cork, okay.
Pull it out, right? Like, and I bought 3 of them, right? I chopped them all up. I was like, one of them I eat raw, like the fresh, right? And then the other one I dehydrate. Thinking about different things to do with it, and it's because you should be eating this fresh stuff, and it's unfortunate. Like, I see these people that's buying processed, and it's just crazy, man. It's sad. It's a very tough time and a weird time to be in. I thought the way we grew up, and I'll tell you this right now, though, the way we grew up and in the town that we grew up in, the way we grew up in the certain scarcity, it kind of gave us tough skin in that aspect, and that's it's unfortunate. The ones that broke out of that lifestyle and kind of went and moved on in their lives, and try to, have the entrepreneur mindset, that's the ones that are going to excel, right? And I tell people, I was like, listen, it's not too late. I don't care if you're 35, 45, 85. There's always a time to break out of that cycle, that mentality, and get yourself to the next level. I'm always here to help people in any aspect that I can, and try to train and educate and empower, because I firmly believe that if we empower each other, we can only affect the generation that's coming. And not for nothing, I want my son and my future children to be able to live in a life where they know that this right here doesn't put you behind. It actually this right here is actually what makes you who you are, makes you better, right? And that's where I'm starting to see that there's going to be a blend in lines, man. There's going to be a blend in lines, and there's going to be no such thing as white and black and Latino and
it's just gonna
be person. It's gonna be rich and poor. That's it.
That's the way it's like India. Take India for an example. Where I work, the boss, the owner of my the guy says he's from Queens, but he's Hindu. He's from India, and he's dope. Like, he's very, very dope. He gives me hazard pay when he can. He put up screens for us and everything. Buys his gloves. Buys his $20 mask on YouTube. On Amazon. We got boxes of gloves, alcohol, anything we have. He stashes stuff for his employees back there. And his brother-in-law, who I work with a lot, telling me how, I get educated on India a lot. I already knew about India, their economy, how it is. There's either the slums or you're rich as hell. There is no middle class.
Nope.
And like you said, that's where we're headed. We're headed to middle class is gone. Either you're rich or poor. Either you're savage, I'm going to look down at you, or you're going to look up at me, and that's it. And that's the scary part, because, like I said, I like to quote a lot of movies, because when I was in Amboy, before I was, the popular Joe in school and all that stuff, I used to watch a lot of movies. And for instance, like Demolition Man, that's where we're headed to if we don't get it together, bro.
Yep.
With the poor living under the ground, eating pills and rat burgers, and the people above just eating a little pill because it got this nutrients in it. You good. You don't have to eat no more. Just spend your money, invest. Build this fantasy life and live it. Or like the movie where we're all going to be sitting in the house. I forgot the name of it, but it's Ready Player One. You ever seen that one?
No.
Ready Player One is about everybody in the world now living in virtual reality. So you stay in your house, which is pretty much a truck container, and you live in this virtual reality Sims world, and you can be who you are, do what you want, and you meet people, and you live a whole life there. So people are literally putting these things on and gloves, and they don't go outside. But if you do go outside, you're just in this it's like a Matrix type world where it's like really poor. So you can live your fantasy on. It's already getting to that point. Like I said, I own a video production company. We do remote broadcasts. Right now, we're live on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? So people don't understand, things are changing, but especially baby boomers. Baby boomers with this pandemic are dropping like flies. And before the pandemic, they were dropping like flies. You know what I mean? We do know that generation is almost gone. And we got to understand that this new generation coming in after the millennials, they're the ones who are going to mold what's coming next. And if the millennials don't get it together and start showing them that there's ways to change, then we're screwed, dude. Because right now, millennials are like, oh, I don't give a shit. I was born in the 80s and I was born in 85. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm right. on the edge, so I could see both sides.
You are there, bro. Like you say, and the thing is that it's, it's such a broad definition of a millennial, so broad that
it is
that you don't want to be classified by it, right? And like for instance, when all this craziness started happening, they're like, "Oh, these millennials are down there spring breaking." I was like, "That's not millennials, bro. That's not millennials. Wrong. Millennials are the ones telling your dumb ass to stay home. Like,
stay
stop
home.
going out, mom, dad. Like, stay home. That's the millennials, right? The millennials are the ones that are, the one thing about us, and I'll take all of it. Millennials are lazy, yes, but if you notice that the richest people in the world are the laziest people. Why? Because they create something that makes their life easier because they don't want to do it, right?
What's the phrase? Work smart, not hard.
Work smart, not hard. So one thing that I'm a 10Xer, right? So I'm big into Grant Cardone. He's my boy. Literally, I'm a 10Xer, bro. So
what's a 10X?
So 10X is living your life 10 times more than what it is, right? So if you want to make $100,000, right? You put your mindset, I want to make $1 million. Why? Because it takes the same amount of effort for you to make that $1 million as it does for 100,000, right? Same amount of time. It's just your mentality, right? You're breaking the habits. So going back to that 10X mentality, my idea is that we need to think bigger than what it is, right? I want to be able to build something easier for myself. So I am lazy. I am really lazy, but that's why I try to reproduce myself. I try to reproduce myself as many times as possible, so I'm not doing it. So for instance, right now my real estate business is a little tough, right? Because I can't show up much houses. Guess what I did? I literally went to a whole bunch of houses myself. I did videos with my Digi. I did all the editing. Now I'm just gonna tell my, hey, listen, look at this house, look at this house, look at this house. Now I just reproduced myself. I just did 4 showings in a click of a button to 4
and a couple weeks of work to cover you for eternity now, because all you have to do is go in the house now. People are gonna like that flow and say, hey, I don't even need to pull up. Just give me a virtual, you know what I'm saying? Virtual tour. And then we can do this exactly so we could you're talking to the person. That's what I'm saying.
Send them a file.
And send them a file and do an e-signature.
So for instance, give me 2 seconds. I'll show you this. So I
use a WeTransfer. You could send as big as files as you want as well.
I do home buyer seminars, right? So I usually have these things here, right? I usually have these things that I teach my home buyer seminars. So this is what I'm doing. As I'm talking to them, I'm going like, so look at this, and I'm pressing the button here so he thinks that I'm actually pushing the whole file to them, right? And so I try to be innovative, but I send them the file, and they're like, oh, Christian, I was like, now you follow along, and I'm explaining to them in the process. I don't need to. I'm all about face to face, right? I love face to face.
Me too.
But
we're people person.
Face to face in Zoom, I can still see your face. I can still get your character, get your feel. So I've been doing a lot of my home buyer seminars and consultations on Zoom. Whatever it takes to be able to take it to the next level. And I tell people that's just the way the world is coming to. Eventually, it's going to happen. Either you adapt or you fall behind. Like I said, you either become rich or you stay where you're at, or you go poor. Because even the rich, believe it or not, even the ones that are rich are going to become poor.
Oh, believe it. I mean, you got to remember when we had the crisis, you know what I mean, before we came out of it, a lot of people that are used to waking up in the morning with Bill Gates money woke up in the morning with my money.
Yep.
And that was after the crisis, and they couldn't adjust. People were jumping out of windows. Suicide rate was up. Reason being is because if Bill Gates tomorrow wakes up with Oprah's money, he's jumping out the window.
Yeah, because it's not the same.
Because they don't. Because at the same time, like you said, our generation is lazy. Rich people don't know how to be poor. It's not in their fucking blood. It's not in their mind. Excuse my language. It's not in their mentality at all. There is no poor. If you think negative, you get negative. I tell my wife all the time, she's a very emotional person. And she's like, babe, why can't you just brush things off? You made a great point that put chills in my body because I'm from Perth Amboy, New Jersey. And don't get it twisted. My mom had an open door policy, but if you ever mess with my mom, it's a wrap. If you ever mess with the people around you, we have family and friends that be like, yo, Jola, I seen your son and he did this and that. Or, yo, my man, I know your mom. Go home. Plenty of times I got pulled over in a car. I should have been an officer that knows my mom because she ran the restaurant. Go home. And everybody like, what? That's because my mom feeds those officers. My mom feeds the mayor. You know what I'm saying? She still does it in Hall Avenue right now, Rosa's Deli, every single day. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand where we come from is a lot. That's why I tell a lot of people. And here in Georgia, a lot of people say, are you from New York? I hear you asking. I said, no, I don't like to be compared to New York. And they say, why? I said, oh, I love New York. When I go to New York, I'm like a freaking a tourist. You just got to understand the difference between a New Yorker and anybody else in the country. New Yorkers, Jay-Z and Alicia Keys came out with a song, Concrete Jungle. That phrase right there speaks everything. If you could live in New York, you could live anywhere in the fucking world. And that's a fact because it's so hard to live in New York. When you live in an apartment, you're paying $1,700 and you can do like the prison cell and touch wall to wall or one bathroom. I moved to Georgia. I was like, oh my God, I got 2 bathrooms in Central Air and a dishwasher? What dishwasher? Because if you don't live in Jersey, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't live in Jersey and your parents didn't get a house for you and you live in an apartment in Amboy, you don't know what a dishwasher is. You don't know what it is to have a washer and dryer in your crib. You got to go down the street to the laundromat.
The laundromat, you know right? With your little cart and pushing that through. Right?
So a lot of people out here in the South, they're used to, and let me just tell you right now, because I'm married and I just like to put this out there. It's not to say that, you know what I'm saying, I'm married to a black woman 11 years. My wife, that's my queen. But she even says it, the difference between black and Spanish people in Jersey and in the South is different. They have a very slave mentality out here, which means they got everything in the beginning. They got the central air, the heat. So if it gets pulled out of their house, they go nuts. You know, and here, I try to build with a lot of people in the South. I really don't build with nobody out here unless you're from up north. And the reason is because I had a lot of bad experiences out here already. In 10 years, I've been through some stuff with Southerners, and it's not their fault. It's what they've been raised through. But there's no, but here's the other thing, like you said, but when do we change? When do we turn that switch and say, hold on, why do I want to be like my parents or go what they went through? When there's opportunity out here, there's jobs, there's work, and there's growth. When I tell you this is a one state that you can come out here and just start a real estate company and do good off rip, this is a state. This is a big entrepreneur state. You can start anything. I started a cleaning company when I first came out here, roadside cleaning. Didn't go good, shut it down. I mean, it went good, but everybody started doing houses for $40. Then I got into, you know what I'm saying, production. I worked for a radio station, met my business partner. He was like, yo, let's start JVIZ Productions. I'm like, that's my name. That sounds great. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And me and him been running and pushing for and this guy, you know what I'm saying, my business at TOV Digital, my business partner, he did stuff with Slum Bill. You know what I'm saying? The girl, Jessie something, she's a WWE wrestler, Jessie something. He got her video, she came on the track. He's the one who directed and produced the video. You know what I'm saying? So, and we do BET red carpets. We do TV1 red carpets for ATL Homicide. We know the main characters personally. We do a lot of the events. That's not to tell people, that's the work I put in. And guess how much money I made out of all those events? Zero. Because people don't understand that you have to put that work in the beginning. I'm sure you did a lot of stuff, Sammy, before you had to do anything else, and it was free because we have to build that foundation. With a weak foundation, what happens to the top of the house? It tumbles. So you have to build that strong foundation. Right. You know, and if you build that strong foundation, you start getting people like, hey, let's do this podcast. Hey, I see what you're doing. It's great. How can I get down? But if you're just sitting there like, no building growth, and you just come out to me and say, hey, I own a production company. Like, what the hell? You have no credentials. Yeah, like, who are you? Like, when you came out real estate, I'm like, Sam does real estate. Then I seen your logo. I started watching your videos when you were teaching and educating people. I'm like, Sam's doing it. Now, there's a lot of other people in Amboy who are just showing their property after they sell it. And it's every few months. And it's like, but what are you showing the people that you're doing different from Joe down the street that sells houses? Like you just said, you take this. Hey, you want this? You put it in the camera and it pops up as a file. That is different. That's innovative. Like, you got to be different. You got to change. You got to do something different. And the way we do different is that you could be anywhere in the world right now, and I can send you a link. And me and you could be talking. And with my company, I can send you a link, and they can click on it. And they can come in from freaking China, Africa, anywhere, and we can have a conversation with them. All you got to have to do is have an iPhone or a laptop. So that whole having to pull up on you industry is done. So people got to understand now it's time to change. There's an adjustment is happening now. We are in 2020. This is the future. People got to stop saying the future. We're in it right now. It's the present. We're in the future.
And everything on your house. The technology's here. Bro, like, simultaneously, while you're doing that, I have emails going on this part. Like, you can go to Walmart and buy a simple podcasting system, right?
Facts.
Like
Sling Studio.
For like $40, right? So it's not like,
but you gotta know how to work.
I don't have the right stuff. I have this. Listen, you can start off with something baby. If you actually look at my videos from the beginning, when I first started doing my videos, I literally just took my phone and went like this. Then I upgraded. I got myself a Digi, right? A little stabilizer stick. Then I got myself a drone. Nice. Now I got myself like a propelling like it's a Digi, like a swivel stick, but I control it with the remote. Like, I started elevating myself. And even in my editing, right? Because you want to just be better. Like, if you see my Instagram, the first mask I did was just this basic mask, right? And I was like, yo, you know what? Let me upgrade it yesterday. So I made it a little bit more like more. It's all about upgrading to the next level.
Yes.
I
hear you. I just want to show you that once, as a photographer, people don't understand that, yeah, your iPhone's great. Great. Like, iPhone is great, but it doesn't take pictures like a digital camera. So I took my ass to a pawn shop one day, and I had a pair of these. I used to work at the airport as a supervisor for cabin cleaning. And I took, I found, on the airport, if you work in the airport and you clean and you're a supervisor, like employees find Bose headsets, they find, Beats and all stuff. So I found 2 pairs, and you see the pair I just had on before. That's my favorite because it's cordless, but I had one that's battery operated, and I went and pawned it. And I pawned a notebook that I had never used. And the guy, I seen the camera, and I was like, I was looking, bro, I got this for $120. All right. All my pictures online is from this basic camera. Now people say, yo, you have a beginner. And I said, yeah, and I'm not changing it. T3i is my shit. I got, my business partner got over $20,000 worth of equipment at our studio. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it doesn't matter. It's about the person behind the camera. Because what? Yeah. You can go and get the Slinger Studio podcast setup that I've seen online everywhere. Yeah, you can do that all you want. But if you take the time and put your time in to learn on YouTube how to work that shit, it's going to look like a mess. Yeah. Because I'm learning how to sew, and my thread keeps on popping on me. So what I did, this is my 8th video right now. And now I know how to put thread a bobbin. I know how to fix the bobbin. I know how to thread it. I know how to fix, make sure everything's threaded the right way. Everything. And I'm like, yo, I'm a dude. And I actually love sewing. It's actually very, very zen, bro.
Very relaxing.
Yeah, man. Like this, making this shit, it makes me feel good. And then the fact that I can give away every 3D sale, we give away one to somebody. I already started looking into a 3D printer because I want to print the mask like my man is in Amboy and get them for free. I said that to something. Listen to this, Sammy. How people are. I said that to a lady who put me up on the mask like you have. She has a printer as well. She puts all the logos on it. And she goes, well, yeah, I sell these for $15. I said, I want to sell mine for $10. So I'm not going to put no logos on it because I'm not looking to make money. I'm looking to help people and still, pay my rent. On top of the fact, she was like, oh, okay. I said, I'm trying to get a 3D printer because she came in with a shield she made by hand. And I said, how much you charge for that? And she goes, I think like $15. I said, I want to make those. I want to give them away all the healthcare with it for free. And she looked at me like, what are you, crazy? And I'm like, what are you, crazy? So you don't have no heart. There's no love in what you're doing right now. I'm not doing this only for the money. Because if I was doing it only for the money, I'd be selling it for $17 because I hand sew them and we order these things and hand sew them on. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not about the money. It's about that's why, in general, this whole conversation even came up is because somebody from Amboy was trash talking her tenant. And I'm like, but and in the posting, it says, he asked me if it was an option for rent, right? And by the time he got back to me, because she didn't respond to him, he was like, you know what, forget about it. I'm just going to pay it in full, and paid it in full with stimulus check or whatever money he had, right? So what was the point of putting it online if he paid it in full? Second of all, you didn't even give him an option at all. Hey, pay something now. Pay a little later. We got time. We booked the time. Just give me something. There was no negotiation, nothing. She even said she pulled up on a property to talk to another tenant, and that's when he came up to her. That is his obligation as a tenant, if he has an issue or problem with how you're running things, to come to you. Yeah. And you should open arms as a landlord or owner to say, I'm here to help you, because I believe there's no such thing as a landlord. I mean, of course, there's a lot of slumlords out there, but the whole point of it was to be able to make money and make sure when something breaks in the house that you own it. But that's impossible for people right now. You want to talk about how you want rent all the time, but let me ask you a question. How much do real estate agents deal with actual landlords after the fact of selling property? Do they ever call you guys or ask you for advice, or do they ever take some damn advice?
So I do work. So a lot of people that do buy multifamilies with me, I usually do all their tenants as well. So I would do property management, so to speak, for them, with finding the new tenants and stuff like that. So and if you use a real estate agent to find your tenants, you have to follow a very strict guidelines, right? So, a lot of people that say, oh, well, I don't want this class. Yeah, you can't do that if you're working with me as a realtor, right? Because legally, we're not allowed to prejudice. We have a certain code of ethics we have to follow, right? So,
Yes, EEOC.
Huh?
EEOC.
Yep. And that's exactly what governs us, right? But you as a landlord, you're not governed by that technically. If you own the property, you live there. No, see, in Jersey,
you can say whoever lives in it or not.
Yep. If you own the property, you live there in Jersey.
Let's touch on that real quick. Just because people are listening, they got to understand what you just said. You're pretty much saying that me, you, any business owner has to go and abide by the EEOC because that is for us. That's federally. That's the government shit. That we have no choice. But you're saying the landlord or owner could discriminate, and let's just put it in
an owner occupant of the property, as long as they're not using a real estate agent to find their tenant, can, in a sense, say, hey, listen, yeah, I'm not going to rent to that person. You know, a lot
because you're black, Spanish, white, or whatever. Let's just be honest. Or rich or poor, whatever. In any circumstance.
Technically, the fine line is you can't be over race, but it can't be, oh, it can't be a male, right? Or it can't be a female.
In general, yeah, judge.
Or, you know, or it can't be, you know, Section 8, right?
So the only thing should determine whether you get this spot or not is your finance. If you can afford to pay my rent every month and give me a deposit, then you can get this property no matter who you are.
It should be that way, right?
It should be like that. Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, you know, so as a real estate agent, I have to follow that guideline, right? So as long, I don't care if it's Section 8, I don't care if it's alimony, I don't care, whatever it is. If you can prove to me that there's finances, right? And you could also prove to me that you have, you know, because we run that NTN, so it's a National Tenant Network, like credit check. So it does your background check, it does your check on your evictions nationwide. So that's why I tell people, I have a lot of friends of mine like, oh yeah, you know, I have an eviction from, you know, California. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna show up. Like, it's
Facts.
gonna show up. Like, so you better tell me now, so I could be able to explain it. Now, if it happened like 6 years ago, you were in college, something happened, I could explain that. I could build a story. Listen, I have been evicted. I have issues that I've gone through. We've all gone through things. If you could just be honest, like I tell you this, just be honest with somebody. So I have to follow that rules, and as a real estate agent, like if you use me as your to find your tenant, then you have to follow those rules. But in the state of New Jersey, under tenant law, technically, if you are an owner occupant of the property, you have the legal right to choose who can and cannot live in your property, because you are living in that property. Now, it's a fine line, right? That race and stuff like that. So I tell people, you know, be very, very careful. You know, when you're renting like that, that's why I always say, listen, I know it's paying a realtor fee, but they're looking for your best factor, right? Because first off, when they see an application, they're just seeing an application. They're not meeting the actual tenant.
Okay.
All right, that's number one. I show the tenant the property when I go and show it to them. And when I show it to them, all they see is Jessica Silva, right? They're not going to see Jessica Silva, the black girl with 2 kids, and they ain't going to see that, right?
Okay.
Or they're driving in the Honda Civic, right? They're not going to.
You leave the personal shit out.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know, Jessica Silva. That's it. It's not going to be anybody else.
This is how much she makes, and that's it.
That's it. And this is where she gets payments, and this is her NTN. That's all they're seeing is a paper, right? So that they can't be prejudged. And I know people are like, well, I don't want to pay a realtor fee if I can find it myself. You're right. It's an extra fee you have to pay, but now you have a peace of mind that you're going to get the house that you want without being prejudged. Yes. And by the way, everything in New Jersey, at least in the state of New Jersey, everything is negotiable. So just because the rent says $1,200 there a month for a 1-bedroom apartment doesn't mean you have to pay $1,200. We can offer $1,000.
I didn't know that either, because out here it's not happening.
Bro, I've done it. Yeah. I have literally negotiated a rent that was $1,300 plus month and a half security plus the full realtor fee, which would end up coming to like $7,000 down payment. And I'm like, might as well buy a house. And she's like, I can't, my credit, whatever. So I said, no problem. We negotiated to $1,100, half the realtor fee, and a month and a half security, right? To negotiate. Yeah. I also tell this, if you're renting right now and you're looking at buying, because I know a friend right now telling me, I'm looking for rent a new place. If you're thinking about the whole 9 yards, what 1 month of rent and 1 month and a half security, and what it is, a realtor fee, I'm talking about $4 or $5 grand. With that kind of money, you can buy yourself a 1-family house for $250,000.
So, and let me cut you off right there, because that goes into my next question for you. Is with this eviction that we had when we decided to start getting back into renting, real estate agent came to my job and he said, man, you know what I'm saying, you might as well buy. And I said, why? He said, because with your eviction on your name, they're going to charge you twice the deposit, and they're going to ask you for, they're asking me for 3 payments of rent ahead of time, bro. So this is what I'm saying. So this is my question to you. Is there a difference when you purchase a property and you have because what I'm seeing a lot is not only evictions is a problem now. Now, if you have any bankruptcy on your name, that's a problem here in Georgia. I don't know about Jersey, but the bankruptcy thing is that I know that there's different types of bankruptcies.
Yeah.
And real quick, because I don't know why I said we got 25 seconds, man. Let me see if that's me or is that you. I'm gonna click off and click you right back on. Hold on.
All right.
My bad. We back. I didn't know Instagram does a 1 hour limit. That's crazy. Gotta get it together, Instagram, in this pandemic. Instagram does a 1 hour limit, yo. That's crazy. There you go. That's crazy. And be nice, bro.
I think Instagram is trying to limit because people be on live for hours and hours at a time.
That's crazy. So a few more questions before I jump off because I do gotta start getting ready for work. I know you got, you know what I'm saying, and we're gonna do this a lot more if you don't mind, man. You preferably early, yeah, preferably early because I go to work at 1 o'clock, 1:30 every day. So, but real quick, so just so I could say the question again online is when right now a lot of people are dealing with going bankruptcy, and I know that there's different. You can hear me, Sammy? You hear me, Sammy? You there? You there? You good? You hear me?
Hold on a second.
Sammy?
Yeah, sorry, I got cut off for a second.
All right, cool. So let me say this. Um, yeah. So I guess there's different types of bankruptcy. So when they tell you you can't have a bankruptcy, is it a specific bankruptcy? Because I know there's chapter 11, there's chapter 7, there's different types where you can't apply for anything for multiple years so is that the same when it comes to tenants? Same thing as when you're buying a property. Do they also look at the bankruptcy and evictions? Because somebody told me you're better off getting a house.
So when it comes to rentals, I know up here they don't really look at the bankruptcy, but they do look at the evictions. But when it comes to actually buying a house and getting a mortgage, they will look at the bankruptcy. They after 5 years of your bankruptcy, that's when they'll start looking at it. There are some programs where depending on the type of bankruptcy it was, that they're able to allow you to buy a house. I know that there are some that would do it the day after you got your bankruptcy done. So it all depends on what type of bankruptcy it was. Therefore, I always tell you, if you want somebody to talk to, I can always connect you with somebody that will give you the best information. And this is what I talk about, right? I'm all about empowering. So I connect myself with other people that are about empowering others, where we give out this information for free. We try to buying
Hold on.
this market and that market.
I lost you for a second. So you say you try to educate people what?
We try to educate people to make the right decision when it comes to buying, right? Whether it's buying today or buying 8 months from now, 9 months from now. I'm connected with people like, for instance, Jose Rodriguez from the Credit Dude. He's the one that's going right now with DJ. Oh my God, I forgot his name. Caesar and DJ not Casanova. From Sundays. Oh my God,
I don't know. I don't know because I haven't been in Jersey in almost 11 years. So.
Oh no, but this guy, he's big. He does the DJ Envy. There you go, DJ Envy.
Envy.
Thank you, Rosana. So
I was gonna ask you. I got a couple of real estate people coming on here, so that's good that we got the same type of people. And if you guys
Rosana's somebody from my team. She's actually somebody that's on my team. We actually went to high school together. Lewis down there, mortgage by Lewis.
Oh yeah, I know who that is. Rosanna.
You know Rosana. She grew up in that Brighton Avenue over there life. You know what I mean?
We all went to school together. Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So mortgage by Lewis down there. Thank you for joining on. He's actually a current right now serviceman in the United States Army. He's an amazing mortgage lender, bro. This guy, he knows his stuff. He's all about helping. One thing I love about him is we did one transaction together but he's so about his client, just like me, that he's about order, right? Making sure things get done the right way, and that's why I appreciate him. He's a wealth of knowledge. Not only him, his wife right now also currently becoming a realtor, but she
Nice.
works for the prosecutor. She works for the government. Amazing people. First of all, I want to thank you guys for what you guys do and what you guys, your services you give to our
Appreciate the
town and
service,
our
man.
country.
Likewise, man. That's amazing. It is important that we, and just to touch on subject real quick, there's a lot of soldiers here in Georgia. This is a big military state, like big, big, big. A lot of people come to boot camp here in South Carolina. It's a big military state, and I see a lot of them come to my store, and I said, "Thank you for service." And they all have this phrase. They all say, um, they say it's very uniform. It says, "Thank you for your service," and they say, "I appreciate something." I forget what it is, and maybe he could thank you for. I'm just. He probably knows exactly when we say thank you for your service. They say something very specific back, and it's very uniform. I love that because the military teaches you how to be disciplined, man. People say they break you down to build you up, but it's a discipline. Now, you can go either way. And like I tell a lot of people, God gives you a choice. You can either jump off the bridge or not. You know what I'm saying? So you have a choice to go left or right in life in general. And thank you for your support, bro. Oh, yeah, that's what they say. Thank you for your support. That's right. And it's very uniform. And it makes me feel good because, man, these people are putting themselves on the line for a country on top of having to be around people who don't care to put masks on, who don't care to keep them and their family safe. Just like us, man, we out here, being around people and we're trying to be safe, but not realizing that if you're not safe or if you want to cough all over everything I just touched, then we have a problem. Now, this pandemic is getting crazy because people are like, hey, more people die of the flu, influenza. I'm like, yeah, but there's a cure for that. There's a difference. When there's not a cure for something, that's a problem. And if it takes 18 months to even just come out with a cure through trials and it not be solidified that it's the right cure, then that's a problem. And when people around you start dying, that's when people start, oh, maybe I should stay home. Maybe you should have stayed home to think about your friend's mother or your friend's grandmother. Some of you went to college, you know what I'm saying?
I have a
It's
family
tough.
member. I have a family member that passed away March 29th, right?
From Corona.
And yes, and
I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, that's gave me a chill.
thank you. But it's he's a distant. He's my dad's cousin, right? Crazy thing, he was one of my clients, and I had just sent him a text earlier that week, right? But what happens is he worked for Garda, so the money transportation, right? And for 2 weeks he was a little sick, right? He was feeling a little sick, and then you know on Friday he just had a huge fever, bad fever. They sent him home early. He, typical Spanish. I can figure this out. Just the flu. I'm just gonna quarantine myself. And
some
48 years
big
old.
paper gloves.
So Rick's Vaporru and call it a day. And unfortunately, he couldn't take it anymore. Monday at 1 o'clock in the morning, he goes to the hospital, and at 5 o'clock, he's pronounced dead. Right? We're talking about a 48-year-old man who you wouldn't even think, right? Because he's working, he's doing his thing, but it's the people that he was transporting the cash with that were not, taking precaution, that were already sick and carrying it. Like, just because you're young, just because we're young, doesn't mean that first off we either already have it, or will get it, right?
We were there. My whole family was sick for 2 weeks, a week and a half before it started going on TV, and I literally lost my sense of hearing. I lost my sense of hearing, my blockage. So they said I had an upper respiratory infection, an ear infection, and a sinus infection. I had antibiotics and everything. I had no hearing. I had fluid in my ears. I had no smell and no taste. And I was sick. It started off with my son. These schools in Fulton County, Georgia, closed down because at my son's school, who's autistic, the special needs teacher is one who had it. In 2 schools, they shut it down at my son's school. My son came home sick. My little son I got it second. My wife got it. No, my little other son got it third. Then my wife got it. Then my wife. And we all went through it. And it was bad, like bad. But every symptom that came out afterwards, I was like, man, I think we had it already. That doesn't mean that you can just go out and be all nilly-willy with it because you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know until you get tested. Until we have nationwide testing, I don't even know why people even thinking about opening up. I understand that we have an economy, but what's an economy without people? What's an economy without people? Fear does create money. You know that.
Of course.
People Vendetta with it. You know what I mean? Another movie called for it.
And what I tell people is this, all right? So if we do want to open up, maybe we just open up more online-based companies, right? And maybe we start going more in that aspect, or curbside pickup. Listen, that
Great.
Kohl's right now is still doing up here. You know, not Sam's Club.
Yeah, everybody does like a
Best Buy is doing it. Order online. Just allow it to be able to be done. Not get me wrong. Like for those people that are not saving their money right now, I don't know how you're not, because you're not paying as much to go out to a bar and get drunk. You're not paying as much to go clubbing. You're not paying, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not paying out for these events or going out to dinner on these crazy nights. So you should be using that money to prepare yourself to the next level. Sit down with with myself and talk about, hey, listen, I may not be able to buy a house right now because my credit's 400. Great, but let's get you ready for that next part. Let's talk about getting you a life insurance, a whole life insurance to be about that. Yeah, man, like it's about thinking the next level, right? It's thinking about, just because it happened right now doesn't mean it's not going to happen again. You know, this is bound to happen again in our lifetime. You know, it's going to happen in our lifetime, bro. So whether it happens in our lifetime or our kids' lifetime or the generation after that, it's teaching them as of our foundation so we prepare them. Do you notice that we've never gotten to a point where we went into like the Great Depression again? Why? Because we learned from that mistake once. So yes, maybe we'll just throw out some money. Yes, we might just go into a bigger deficit as a financial, economics, but, and I think it's retarded. But let's think about it. We're not going to get ourselves into that point where we are in a depression again, where we have people going to these parts, right? Because we learn from our mistakes. At least we hope that we learn from our mistakes, right?
I don't think we learned from the Spanish flu, because as you can see, the posting I put up the other day, I don't know if you've seen it, but I believe it was 1918. I believe it was Pennsylvania, but I could look at it again. They had a parade to heighten the morale of the people because of the war, and they had 200,000 people. And within 72 hours, every 31 hospitals in Pennsylvania, I believe, was filled with patients. They lost 24 people, 2,700 people in like 1 week or a day or some shit like that. But that's crazy. And then the thing is, Pennsylvania yesterday protesting again, bro. And I love politics. I'm definitely getting to the independent thing, off Democrat, off more of a liberal independent, because to me, this politics shit is getting too bad, bro. These people in office are not really realizing that we're the people who run this country. Donald Trump don't get paid unless he has citizens in this country. So, and any president, to be exact, to be honest, like everybody in the government, when we get shut down, they still get paychecks. When we go to the military, their kids are exempt. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big difference. It's still like kings and queens. It's just a lot more kings and queens running us. And that's the problem, is the people don't know that it is the power of the people. If you watch the movie Ants, what they say, that's a very specific phrase that the wasps were talking about at the bar in the movie Ants. People don't watch Pixar, but you know who's behind that shit. And he's a fucking genius before he died. And he was telling you, they were at the bar, right? And the boss wasp, the two wasps were laughing at the bar. And he takes one of those things, it's like liquid that they suck up and drink, right? It's like their beer or whatever. And he throws it. He says, one of these, does it hurt? And they're like, ah. He's like, yeah, but if you let all the ants, and he opens the cap, they're gonna cover you. They're gonna take over. Which, what happens when you have thousands and thousands of ants? They can lift up a home. They literally can lift, because of teamwork.
Yeah.
And that's the citizens, and that's the people. If we all come together the right way and fight against the government the right way, there's no point in going in front of these businesses and cursing and saying you're this and that. Let's sit down. Let's figure this shit out, because, and then you put the pressure on saying that, well, if you don't do this, the people, you know what I'm saying? But you have to have everybody together, and that's kind of impossible nowadays. Everybody has a different opinion, because, I mean, it has a lot to do with the internet as well. Easy access to fake information. Easy access to somebody just put mine in your face on a new Instagram later on, and we went, like, they don't understand that somebody could digitally take mine in your face, go on another Instagram in like 5 minutes, and then do a whole nother video with our voices, and it's not even us, and do all this negative shit, because they don't understand the meaning behind the dark web, and how these hackers are. That's the real war. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. So technology is everything, but I gotta get it to work soon, Sammy. So let's do this more, my brother.
I got you, bro.
What I'm gonna do about, what's the latest I can hit you up, text wise?
Hit me.
All right, so do me a solid. DM me your number, and I'll DM you mine's back. Do me a favor right now, though. In the notes, right now, can you put your how they can follow you and your real estate company, and even if you can't, just say it verbally.
Yeah, so I'm gonna type it in right now, real quick. So you can follow me at RE Exodus, all right, RE Exodus, and at NJ Real Estate Sam. All
And when I tell you this guy right here, if you have questions, he will answer. This guy has a really big heart like myself, so I'm dead serious. Like I wouldn't get on with anybody. This is my guy. Like me and him when we were in school, we were really fucking tight. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying? Like I said, and when I'm done, you know, you can follow me at JVIZ Shots, JVIZ Production Studios, LLC Incorporated. You can follow me at TOV Digital Media and Justice Media Network. That's my network that's actually giving out a really, a lot of positive and real news, and they're actually debunking a lot of stuff. And they give you he gives you a update on the cases every day. And like I said, I want to get more people like you on here, Sam. If you have any friends that would want to be in a Zoom and actually open a conversation about real estate, because that's your area, and I want people to still be informed, because it's going to get worse in your field for tenants. It's going to get worse for buyers. It's going to get worse for real estate agents. So let's prepare. Let's teach them how to prepare. And then I want to do a promotion with you on your seminars and stuff like that, so we can start doing remote broadcasting for you and get a lot more people. We need to get this international. I mean, you know, domestically, but this needs to go a lot further than, you know, New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. We got to get the whole country, because people need to be educated. So I really appreciate you, bro. One more time, if you could just tell me your IGs.
Once again, so follow me at RE Exodus as well as NJ Real Estate Sam. One is my personal page, one is my team page. Follow my team on there. Also follow NJ Real Estate by Rosanna, who's also my main team member. We're going out there. Thank you so much again, Joey. And this is amazing, bro. You know, this is an amazing opportunity, and I look forward to many more of these, man. All right.
Most definitely, bro. So I'll hit you I'll hit you up in a little while with my personal info on your DM.
All right, bro. Take it easy. Thanks, man. Later, bye.
Peace. So just before I jump off, people, I just want to say I decided I want to do Yo-Yo with Joe. That's like, yo,